Welcome back, everyone. If you've ever banged your head against your desk wondering why a claim got stuck in limbo or how to flawlessly route it to a payer, well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're diving into a brand new explainer on the absolute bedrock of medical billing, mastering the CMS 1500 claim form and navigating clearinghouses. Here's the roadmap for today. We'll start with the CMS 1500 claim form, then unpack the role of the clearinghouse, break down the critical differences between rejections and payer denials, dissect the anatomy of an insurance card, and finally, wrap things up with a quick AR knowledge check.
All right, Part 1, the CMS 1500 claim form. This is literally the blueprint of billing. So, the top half of the CMS 1500, which covers blocks 1 through 13, is completely dedicated to the patient's demographic and insurance coverage details. This is where we tell the payer exactly who the patient is, who holds the policy, their mailing address, and those all-important insurance ID numbers. It sounds basic, right? But think of this as the vital anchor point for any claim. Because let's face it, if the payer doesn't know who the patient is, they are absolutely not going to pay for their care. Then, as we move down to blocks 14 through 33, the focus shifts entirely away from the patient and onto the healthcare provider. This section outlines the specific medical services rendered, the diagnosis codes, dates of service, the provider's NPI, and of course, the financial charges. Basically, this half tells the complete story of the medical visit itself.
Now, as an AR associate, you really have to ensure perfect accuracy here. Why? Because missing or invalid info in any of these fields can trigger 23 distinct rejection scenarios. Yeah, 23. Think about that for a second. Just one tiny typo in a diagnosis code pointer in block 21, or maybe a botched zip code in block 5, and boom, your revenue cycle is stopped dead in its tracks before it even gets off the ground. When it comes to the CMS 1500, attention to detail is totally non-negotiable.
Moving on to Part 2, let's talk about the clearinghouse, or as I like to call it, the digital toll booth.
So once you've filled out your CMS 1500 in your billing system, it doesn't just magically teleport straight to the insurance company. It actually goes to the clearinghouse first. This intermediary acts just like a digital toll booth, automatically scrubbing your claims for errors and running some pretty rigorous syntax checks. Their whole job is to make sure that only a clean claim, meaning one that is perfectly formatted with no glaring data omissions, is allowed to pass on through to the payer.
You also really need to understand the difference between submission types at this stage. If your billing system is configured for hard copy submissions, actually printing out paper claims, the clearinghouse needs a highly accurate physical claims mailing address or lockbox to route that paper. But obviously, modern medical billing heavily relies on electronic submissions. In that scenario, you ditch the street address and use an electronic payer ID instead. And be careful, because if you punch in the wrong payer ID, the clearinghouse will send that electronic claim to completely the wrong insurance company, and you might not even realize it for weeks.
Okay, Part 3, Rejections versus Payer Denials. Let's look at these workflow roadblocks. Now, novices often throw the terms rejection and denial around interchangeably, but as RCM experts, we know they are entirely different animals. A rejection means the clearinghouse stopped your claim right at the toll booth because of a formatting or syntax error. The insurance company never even laid eyes on it. Your fix? Just immediately correct the data in your billing system and refile. A denial, on the other hand, means the claim actually made it past the clearinghouse. The payer accepted it into their system, adjudicated it, but ultimately refused to pay. When that happens, you've got to dig into the provider remittance advice or explanation of benefits to figure out the medical or contractual reason for the denial and get ready to appeal.
Which brings us to Part 4, the anatomy of an insurance card and the absolute necessity of front-end data capture.
Look, every single insurance ID card is packed with essential data points. It's not just a piece of plastic, it is quite literally the key to getting paid. You have to capture the member ID and group number to prove eligibility. You need to find the claim's mailing address or electronic payer ID, usually on the back of the card, to route the claim correctly. Plus, you've got to note the copayment or deductible amount so you actually understand what the patient owes versus what the insurance is going to cover.
By rigorously following a set process to extract and verify that card data against your billing system, you drastically reduce the dreaded claim not on file scenario. You know the one. It usually pops up when a claim goes to the wrong payer ID, or there was a typo in the patient's member ID, causing the claim to just vanish into the digital ether. Can you imagine the frustration of a perfectly coded, high-dollar claim completely disappearing for 30 days, all because someone mistyped one single digit on the member ID? Good front-end diligence is what prevents those massive back-end nightmares.
All right, part 5. Time for a quick AR knowledge check to test your expertise.
Question number 1. What exactly do we mean by a claim in process? Take a second to think about what this specific status implies about the payer's actions. Does it mean the claim got rejected, or does it mean something else entirely?
Okay, question 2. If a claim is rejected at the clearinghouse, can an AR specialist actually check the specific reason for that rejection? Think back to the role of the clearinghouse as our syntax checker, and what kind of feedback they kick back to your billing system.
And question 3. What should you ask an insurance rep if the normal processing turnaround time, the TAT, has been crossed? What are your next logical steps when a claim has been accepted by the payer, but it's just sitting there, stuck indefinitely?
All right, let's go over the answers. For number 1, a claim in process means the claim was successfully received by the payer and is actively being adjudicated. For number 2, absolutely yes, you can check the reason. Clearinghouses provide highly detailed electronic rejection reports that show you exactly which field on the CMS 1500 failed the syntax check. And for number 3, if that TAT is crossed, you need to proactively call the payer and ask for the very specific reason for the delay. Don't just wait blindly. Mastering these core concepts is exactly what separates a rookie from a true RCM expert.
So I want you to think about your current denial queues. Honestly, how many of them could have been completely prevented right at the digital toll booth? When you master these nuances, you will absolutely watch your cash flow accelerate. Thanks for tuning in to this explainer. Share and subscribe for free courses on Decode Healthcare with Harshal.